Welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. A little while ago I put up a tarp split line, not a mono line. So the line snipped in two, attached to the foot and head end of your tarp, stretched it out to 2 trees. The big difference is I put an Evenk knot on each tree, which typically bows your ridge line. And I came up with a solution to tighten that on Prusiks. Got a similar thing for you guys who like a mono line, and a lot of people seem to like that because they want to slide the tarp up and down the line for some reason. So what I'm going to do is reach into my pack and grab a big chunky old line just so it can be seen on camera, and I'll put it up the usual way you've seen a million times. Then we're going to start making some alterations. Put a little mocha pot out with me, some water, and this is the rope I'm going to use just for demonstration so it shows up better on camera. This is a lot smaller. Now somewhere in here I've also modelled a prototype, so we'll be able to see how this little modification works up close. I just need a couple of trees spaced pretty close together because this is the model of how to use a mono line and have it self-tightening as well. I think I will get out that big thick white line and put it between the 2 trees and demonstrate the issue. It's not a big issue, some people won't find it an issue at all, but if you do use some modifications that I'm going to show you, it makes things a hell of a lot easier, and that's all I'm trying to do, is make things a bit easier. So here's that bit of line. I'm going to put one side up to the tree on an Evenk knot, which is quick and easy to do, and I'll show you that. Very, very easy to do. It's the other side, when we come to the other tree, that starts encountering its own incumbency. With the short tail in my right hand, I wrap around my palm, I pull it under the long tail, which is going to go over the hammock, reach over just so I can grab that short tail. I don't want to pull all that tail through, just want to make a loop. Now that is an Evenk knot and can be slid up to the tree, and that will hold. In the event I want to bring us down quickly, I just grab this short tail and pull, and it all comes undone like that. So that's the reason I would like an Evenk knot on both the trees. The other tree requires a different kind of knot usually, but not anymore. And it can hold all my body weight. Around the tree with this line here, it requires me to bring all this excess line over, back round the tree, keeping tension as I go, bring it back over, and as you can see that's pulling it tight again, back round the tree, and then tie off somehow, somewhere. So I've lashed around the tree over itself, come back round, over itself, come back round. I've got to find a knot that works here. So let's try and undo this knot I've made. The thing, as you're going to see right now, is in a hurry. This doesn't want to come down quickly. I've got to untangle it and come around the tree. Don't get all this tangled up down here on the floor either. This does not want to come down quickly, and I want it to. If you have some time on your hands, there's nothing wrong with going around the tree over itself, pulling some tension, coming back round, tying your knot off. And then you've got a mono line, one line between two trees. American tarps, they tend not to have a loop in the centre of the tarp, so you wouldn't run a mono line between your tarp, so it can be adjusted left and right. It's a very bushcrafty way of doing it. It's going to be far easier to tie this other end in an Evenk knot we tied to the first tree. The trouble is, you're going to get a dip in the line like this. But that is the bit we're going to counter with a solution. Just come around the tree, put an Evenk on. How quick was that? An Evenk knot on tree 1 and tree 2. The line is sagged in the centre, so that wouldn't support a tarp. Okay, I've put up a scaled model. An Evenk knot, quick and easy to put up and take down. An Evenk knot, tree 2. It is dipping. You'd never be able to support a tarp on that until we come to the actual modification, which is here. I've put a double split Prusik on here, which we're going to make on the other line. This is the model line, and as you can tell, the model is in black here. It doesn't show well on camera, which is why I use the white. I want to pull all this dip here, needs to be taut. So grabbing one of the Prusik ends, I start pulling the line until it does go taut. This is the amount of slack I've managed to take out where it was otherwise dipping, but up here from tree to tree is taut. And yes, you can bring your little Prusik over and connect up to your tarp that way, and your tarp would sit on this ridge line here, which as you can see now is absolutely bang taut, unlike the full size scale model here. So we're going to put the double-ended Prusik on to see how much slack we can take out of this. Coming back to the scale model where I took the slack out here, I can also lower the tarp simply by giving it more slack on the ridge line. So keep your eye on this cord here. I've put this in the centre as a focus point, and you can see I can bring it from slack to taut in a couple of seconds. Keep your eye on it. It's taut enough to put your tarp on. And if you're one of them guys who do like sliding your tarp a little left and a little right, you can do. Other than that, I can find the centre of two trees. The advantages of this is just how quick it is to take down. It's on a Prusik. It's one of the quickest knots to put up and down. Let's come over to the other side and do the same. Just grab the short end pigtail and pull. Good hard yank. That is off. So that's the model for demonstration. It's just time to scale it up. I'm absolutely gagging for a brew. So I've got my little espresso pot, some water and coffee, and the Beck stove. And I think I need a brew before we carry on. But all we have to do now is to make a double split Prusik and put it on the main line between two trees, and I pull the slack out of the main line rather than try and get that tension by lashing around a tree dozens of times one way, dozens of times the other, tying it off. That is why I had to come up with something a little different. So I did do it on a split line, which was exactly the same concept really. If you go to the States and buy yourself a tarp, like I said, it won't even have a centre loop in it, so you will get used to using a split line, and I like it. But I know a lot of Brits like their mono line. I'm creating the tension on the line rather than going around a tree. If you try this, it's quick and easy to do. I'm just dragging it out a bit here and having a coffee. if you do try this, you'll discover for yourself the benefits of doing this. If you're traditional and a bit of a sheeple, you might even see your arse about this and go, oh, there's nothing wrong with the way I was doing it. Probably there isn't anything inherently wrong with it. I find the method I'm using is a lot quicker, not just to take down, but also to put up. Find some level ground. Level ground. To make that double Prusik, I need a length of cord. Bring the ends together, and the kind of length I have is from my elbow up to my pointer finger, doubled. So that's the kind of length. It doesn't have to be precise. Now I'm going to hook this end over the tree-to-tree mono ridge line. Want to come over the main line and pull the two tails through. That's pulled it through once. I want to pull it through twice. You can do another if you want, but that's the first part of your Prusik onto the ridge line. And that locks off really nice. That's not moving anywhere. That leaves the other two pigtails here, and I'll show you how we connect them, just so it looks something like that and has a loop in. I bring both these little tails behind this line. One of them goes to the right, one of them goes to the left. Come to the one on the right, bring that round again. The one on the left, bring towards you again. And we need to tie these behind this static loop here. I'm just going to put an overhand knot in mine. Left over right, right over left. And that is as technical as it has to go. This is just something you do the once. You don't have to do this each and every time. That is on. Nice. Okay, I've got this loop in the centre, but it needs to be shifted right over to one of the tree ends. Just want to show you how we can draw all the slack out. Now I have all that tension pulled out, and the tension has gone there, as you can see in this dipped area of ridgeline, and the black double Prusik is filling in the space where this would have been. I just need to move this little gadget knot down to the tree end, and I might even attach a tarp onto this so I can tighten from this end where the tree is as quick as that, and lower as quick as that. I don't have to lash around this tree to get the tension. The tension for the line is here. Just pull and up. That quick to take the mono tree to tree ridge line up. That quick to bring it down if you want to make some modifications to your tarp. That quick to put it onto a tree. That quick to take it off a tree. I bought I think my 3x3 with me, which I'm going to put onto this. This is the DD 3x3. I'm not blown away by DD or anything. I'm not a fanboy like a lot of other people are. You get what you pay for. I think it's all right, you know. You're going to get your 30-40 quid's worth of tarp. The ones I use for trekking, my lighter weight ones, I use dual lines. There'll be a separate head and a separate left. I don't use this mono line. So here's the ridge line here. I want to miss this front lead here and come through some of these bigger loops, which I'm just going to gather into my hand. That will be next to centre. This will be the centre. This will be next to the other end. Let's bring that cord through and just let this hang loose while I tie this to a tree and use this Prusik here to get the tension on this white line. I've got one of these double cord locks here. So if that goes around my line, that goes into the webbing of the tarp. That is in. Slide it along up to where I've taken the slack out. A lot of slack out of that. There's half of it done. Need to do the same this other end. Quickly make one up for you. Cinch lock. Bring one of the cords through. This is a double barrel cinch lock. Bring that through. I'm going to put a knot into each of these ends to stop it coming back out of this barrel cord lock. As one done. On some people's channels I see on bushcraft, the tarp is always connected to the line other than the head and the foot, which you can move left or right. On other videos I see they put the line up first, then connect to the tarp with Prusiks and carabiners. On other videos they put one end of the line up, thread it through the tarp, then come to the other end and go round the tree, over the line, round the tree, over to get the tension. So I don't know why they do that, but I am going to keep the tarp connected to the line other than the head and foot with one of these. So Prusik this on, get the other side done. I've shared this with you in another video prior, that if you have these end-to-end head and foot tarp adjustments, like for your bushcraft tarp, and your tarp has centre loops, sometimes you can pull on the foot and head end so tight that they don't even rest on the main line. So your centre loop and the ones either side of it float above the line and they're not resting on it. So don't put too much tension on and let it just sink onto the main mono line, and I'll show you what I mean. These are resting nicely on the line. This is doing a job. By the time I stake out, it'll still be touching this white line. Right, I start pulling. Now watch what happens on these centre lines. I've got all the tension here. That not resting on the line at all. Centre loop not resting on the line. Pointless. Pointless. What is the point of having these loops? You may as well not have a mono line. You may as well have a split line like I do and forego these centre loops. So just bring it back a little, not a lot, just so it is resting on the line. You don't want these webbings up here where it's not doing anything. I can gain height up and down the tree by this adjustment on the main line through that little gizmo that we made. That's perfect for me. If I want to move quickly, I can, because at each tree I've made an Evenk knot. I just pull one cord at that tree. I pull one cord at that tree. I don't bother what the tarp's doing. I just want the tarp down fast as possible. I don't want to be unlashing from a tree. I'm really not going to pay much attention to that adjustment we put in. That's coming down too. I have a 3.5 by 3.5 DD in green. And I may do something similar and keep that white line, because DD tops are not known for being lightweight because of polyester. My sil nylon, I wouldn't dream of having cordage like this. I have 1.75 Dyneema. This ridge line creates a silhouette in the dark, so I'm going to put my brew down and see how fast I can drop this silhouette. And to me, this is the concept. It has to be rapid. The main prioritising reason I came up with this little system is the Evenk knot. I like using it, but usually by the time you get to the second tree, I've got a massive dip in the line, and that needs to be rigid to hold up your tarp. And I pondered on it for a little while and put a split Prusik on, and I can pull that tension out of the sag of the main line quite easily. Now it's in the pack, I move to site location 2, and I can put it up in the same way with an Evenk on that side of the tree. Come to the other tree and put an Evenk on, but I take that dip out of the main line, as you saw, by pulling it through them double Prusiks. So my other system used a split line, which is a dual tarp line, which I often use. If you buy tarps from America, they often don't have them centre loops. You just have one at the head end, one there, and just put it in the middle. I know where the middle is. Some people who do bushcraft videos have got plenty of time, so they can tie knots and loop around a tree. These people don't have the psychology that you may need to put up quickly, take down quickly, and be gone quickly. And I certainly don't want to sound like I'm crapping on these people, because I also watch these bushcraft people, and I like watching them. I think it's most amusing. But if you want a stealthier way and get away with using Prusiks, this is it. And for you guys also who would rather have a dual line rather than a mono line, I've done a video of how we can use double Evenk knots on a double split line rather than a mono line, one line from tree to tree. You could only, before doing an Evenk on one tree, you had to do a different knot on the other tree. Now we can do an Evenk on each, which is quick to put up, quick to take down. Master that knot, learn it somewhere else on YouTube. I know plenty of knots. I often only use 6, and out of them 6, 3 knots I use the most often, which should be the Evenk and a Prusik, and they're the 2 basics. If you were to only learn 2 knots, you could do this. So until next time, take care of yourself. I'll see you out there. Cheers.